During the time that I was going through financial difficulties and I became very isolated into myself, I felt like I needed more help. So because I had left the church, I decided to start attending again. And as I started attending, I came right in the middle of the campaign taking place. It was about a week before we had to sacrifice. So I decided to take part in the campaign. Then Pastor said that we can come every day to hear the words and to come early in the morning. So that's exactly what I did. I used to wake up, go to the service, hear the message, leave, and go and do what I needed to do, like look for a new job, for example. So after the campaign, today I'm financially free. My salary has tripled what I was earning before the campaign in my old job. I've got a new job and a new career in the NHS. During the campaign, because I was also going through spiritual problems, I vowed that I didn't want to ever miss any more services in the church for the Wednesdays, the Fridays and the Sundays. Today, I haven't missed not one Wednesday, Friday or Sunday. I'm reading my Bible. For the future, I'm going to be opening up a business. I've already been putting it into practice and the plans are coming in together nicely. I see my whole family being in the church, not just myself and my mum. And spiritually speaking, I'm growing and growing every day.
Good evening and welcome to Finding Answers. Now, when I say to you, repeat offender, what comes to your mind? Repeat offender. Probably what's come to your mind is that picture of, a young person maybe, who has a tag, who is in and out of prison. Could be that drug addict who's also in and out of prison, and they're out because they've done their time, but then they're caught with drugs again, and then they go back in. Maybe the repeat offender, it's that rapist, for example. But can that term only be applied to those types of people, the criminals, if I can say that, of this world? Or can it be applied to you? That's the topic for tonight on Finding Answers. Are you a repeat offender? Now, what do I mean by that? We don't like to learn our lesson sometimes. We make mistakes. I've made mistakes. I know you've made mistakes, but the question is, have we learned from our mistakes? There are people who, they have mistakes. They commit mistakes in life. I'm not talking about taking drugs, not talking about murder or rape. I'm talking about everyday mistakes that really affect your life, that has really harmed you. And maybe today you are the product of your mistakes, your repeat mistakes that you've made over the course of the years. Maybe you're at home now, watching this program, depressed, sad, lonely, poor, because of the repeat mistakes that you've made. There's an old saying, if you don't hear, you will feel. I don't know if you've ever heard that, but I grew up hearing that saying from my family. If you don't hear, you will feel. And maybe you are feeling the pain, the consequences of your wrong choices that you've made. You have been a repeat offender. What do I mean by that? It's that lady who, wanting to find someone, wanting to find their Prince Charming, ends up saying yes to the first guy, but then he uses her, mistreats her, and then leaves. And what does she do then? She decides, you know what? I need someone in my life. So let me jump from this relationship to another. And the first guy that comes on the scene that gives her any sort of interest, she says yes. And then what does he do? He uses her again, like the first one. But then he dumps her. And the cycle keeps going on and on. So, are you that type of person? You are repeating the same mistake over and over again. And you are in trouble. You are making the wrong choices in order to get rich quick. There are people offering to you rich schemes, quick schemes to get rich, and you haven't learnt your lesson. Now you're in debt. Now your family are in problems, financial problems. It's affecting your well-being because of your idea, the want to get rich, but instead you are suffering. So in that case, you are a repeat offender. So my question to you is, are you a repeat offender? Is your life such a mess today you haven't learned from your mistakes? I will open the phone lines now, and if you would like to call in and share with us, if you want some advice live on air on finding answers, then you can give me a call now. The number is 0207 686 6300. I have a team of pastors waiting to answer your call. If you don't want to come on air, that's fine. You can give us a call now and someone will be able to have a word with you and give you some advice offline, off air. All right? If you like to email in your questions, then that email address is help@findinganswers.tv. I'm going to show you a quick video now just to highlight tonight's topic. Have a look at this.
What was that? The weather. Very peculiar, don't you think?
Yeah. Looks like the winds are changing.
Change is good.
Yeah, but it's not easy. I know what I have to do, but going back means I'll have to face my past. I've been running from it for so long. Ow! Jeez, what was that for?
It doesn't matter. It's in the past.
Yeah, but it still hurts.
Oh, yes, the past can hurt. But the way I see it, you can either run from it or learn from it. You see? So what are you going to do?
So, I'm sure you know that was from the film The Lion King. With me is Esther. Esther, that video, how are you?
I'm very good, thank you. Very happy to be here. That video always makes me laugh.
Yes,
that
why?
Film, it's just really straightforward. Yeah.
And the point, the video there, what was highlighting there? What did you get from that?
Just that your past can haunt you, but it can also hurt you. So you've got to be careful of it. I think that video was just trying to say, wake up, you know, like a slap around the face, you know, what your past is in your past.
Yes.
Try not make the same mistakes so that you create more bad past.
Exactly.
You know.
So that's the topic for tonight. You know the number to call. You know the email to send in any of your comments. So go ahead, do it now. All right. With me in the studio is our guest, a young man who had many mistakes. You're going to hear, like many people who come on this program, they have lots of mistakes, things that they did, that they went through. Some, their fault, others not. But he made some wrong choices, but you're going to hear his story. All right? We're going to go for a quick commercial break, and we'll be back with our testimony tonight, a young man by the name of Andy. We'll see you then.
The greatest campaign of faith of all time.
Senhor nosso Deus, passaremos uma madrugada inteira clamando.
E é por isso que nós estamos aqui.
Ó Deus da riqueza, ó Deus da sabedoria.
Para dissipar as obras das trevas que lhes atingem.
Responda,
Nós
meu Pai.
pedimos, consagra, meu Deus.
Nós profetizamos e determinamos que se tem que sacrificar tudo. To see things that we have never seen before.
Why is this the greatest campaign? Because it will take place in the Temple of Solomon. Take a look at this promise. Now my eyes will be open and my ears attentive to prayer made in this place. For the first time ever, bishops from all over the world, together with Bishop Macedo, and pastors from all over the world will be united in one faith and one spirit on the greatest altar of God here on earth. Mexico, Bishop Paulo. Portugal, Bishop Julio. USA, Bishop Romaldo. South Africa, Bishop Marcelo Perez. England, Bishop Junior. The greatest campaign of faith of all time. At the Temple of Solomon.
So, maybe you're thinking about making some big changes or setting some ambitious goals for yourself. Maybe you want to lose 20 pounds or read through the Bible. Maybe you want to run a marathon or repair a broken relationship. Whatever your big goal is, the temptation is to expect to go straight from here to here, or from here to here. The reality is, there are a lot of small steps between big decisions and big results. Challenges and obstacles await. At some point, you might even want to quit. But stand firm. Don't be disappointed with slow progress. Don't be overwhelmed by the destination. Rather, focus on what you can do today. Skip dessert. Read a chapter. Go for a run. Make a phone call. The more difficult the journey, the more rewarding the destination. And it can all start today with just one small step.
Welcome back to Finding Answers. Now, before I show you a video here, I would like to show you Andy on the cameras here. This is Andy, our guest for tonight. Andy Madewu.
Yes.
So, we're going to hear your story in a few moments, all right, Andy?
Yes.
And Andy, you are, just learnt now, you're 16 years old.
Yes, I am.
Still very young, right?
Yes.
But he has a story to tell. So, you're going to hear his story in a minute. So, before we do that, let's go for this video on some common mistakes. Have a look at this.
Mistakes. Are you a repeat offender? We all make mistakes at some point of our lives, but hopefully we can learn from them, put it down to experience, and remember not to do it again. It happens to the best of us. As hard as we try to be perfect, on occasion we mess up. The important thing is, do you learn from your mistakes, or do you just go ahead and make the same ones over and over again, visiting old ground and reinforcing the circle? So here's an example of some mistakes that are commonly repeated. Dating the same kind of person that you know is not really good for you, the kind who you vowed to avoid after the last breakup. Putting off assignments or not studying for an exam until last minute, then making silly mistakes in a rush to meet deadlines. Or sleeping in, not going to the gym, overeating, and then feeling bad about it. Sound familiar? There are many things we do and keep on doing, even though we know it will end badly. Or sometimes we have no idea at all that we're making the same mistakes. Either way, it's time to change the record. In order to learn from our mistakes, we must react to them deliberately. We must assess the situation, extract the lesson, and determine to change our actions based on what we have learned.
Haven't we been all guilty of one of those or all of those things at one point in our lives? I remember at university, one of the topics I hated in our business course was accounting. And I had an assignment that I needed to do. And guess what I did? I left it till the night before. And I had an invite to go to a nightclub the night before. And stupidly, what did I do? I decided to go out to that nightclub with a friend. And I got back at like something like 2 a.m. in the morning, and I had to do the assignment. So I remember sitting down on my bed. I think I must have drunk about 3 or 4 cups of coffee to keep awake. And I did the assignment in a rush, not thinking about it. I did it. I slept for about 2 hours. I had to wake up, go into university, type it up on computer, print it out. I just got it in on the deadline. And I was waiting for the result. And I was thinking, you know what? Okay, I'm going to get, so I wasn't even sure I was going to get, but I just barely scraped. I got a 42%. 40 was the pass on, which is the lowest. I got 42. And I said, you know what? Never again am I going to do that. I learned from my mistake. Obviously, I didn't do it again, but you know, I learned from my mistake. I knew what I needed to do, but I didn't do it. And some people do that, as was said in the video. They make the mistake of leaving assignments to the last minute. Well, enough of me. Let's talk about Andy. Andy, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Not nervous? Okay, good. So tell us about your life. Tell us what happened. How did things start for you? Because you're 16 years old.
Yes, I am.
Still learning.
Yeah, indeed.
But you've made a mistake and you've learned from it, right?
Yes, many.
So please, tell us, where did it all start?
Well, it all started at home, if I can say. From a very young age, I witnessed my mum being abused by my dad. So this escalated. So when I was around 3, as long as I can remember, it started to keep on going. As in, I was in nursery to reception, and it kept on escalating. At night time, I used to see my dad coming home, drunk from work or nightclubs, and he'll find something, find a problem, if I can say, or put a problem there, just to get a reaction.
And you remember this from you were 3, 4, 5 years old?
Yeah, a lot of them. But I would say mainly it started when I was about 4, which I witnessed from my own eyes.
What did you witness?
I witnessed my mum being beaten on the sofa, being beaten in front of me, as in being whipped with a belt. Also, I remember one time she with a cigarette glass, she was hit across the eye with it, and then I believe she was unconscious for
cigarette what?
Glass.
Ashtray. The ashtray,
yes, but it was a glass one.
Okay, yeah.
So with the glass one, she was hit just on top of the eye.
Your dad threw that at her?
Yeah, no, he hit him with her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so, and I think she was unconscious, and then the doctor said if it was only a few inches, then it could have made her crazy, turned her crazy. Yeah, so that's how I witnessed a lot of that, and this went on even till I was 8 and things like that.
So, you witnessing that, how were you when Dad would come home? When you're around your dad, how would you feel?
I'll feel angry, like it's like revenge was boiling up in my blood. It's like I was ready to do something, but because I was so small, it's like I felt powerless. Powerless, like I couldn't do anything at all. It's
so
like
you would side with your mum?
Yeah.
Protect her?
Yeah, I could say that. Because at times it's like I wanted to protect myself, but I saw that my mum, in my eyes, my mum was the weaker one in that situation, because she was the one being punched, being slapped most of the times, or being pushed this side. So to me, it was like, I have to protect her.
So from there, from those problems at home,
yes,
where did it start going wrong elsewhere?
Well, while this was going on, from a very young age, I was having sleepless nights. I mean, I was struggling to sleep a lot at night time.
Was that because of what was going on at home?
I'll be honest with you, sometimes it was, but at other times it wasn't. Because, like, I'll get bad dreams, like nightmares. Some people say sleepwalking, but it was worse than that. In terms of I was waking up in the middle of the night, heavily breathing, it would be 3 in the morning and things like that. So this happened a lot from childhood.
And you remember these nights?
Yes,
I remember it.
Yes, I do.
Yeah? So you said things were bad. Nightmares about what?
There was many. There was nightmares where I was falling, and it's like no one could catch me, things like that. I remember nightmares being chased.
Chased by?
It was like a dark figure. Like I couldn't see the face or anything like that.
So as a young boy, having those things, how did you did you hate going to bed at night?
Yeah,
because you know it would happen?
I did a lot of times. I used to hide under my quilt. Like I used to make it seem as in I would play with things like that. But in truth, it wasn't that. I wasn't playing, I was being serious. I was afraid of if I close my eyes and I leave my head on top of the quilt, something will come and grab me, take me away.
That imagination of a young child, right? Yeah. So you had these nightmares, you had these bad dreams. How did you feel? Can you remember how you used to feel?
Yeah, I used to feel a lot of pressure, and I used to feel very scared, lonely, mostly lonely. Even though sometimes, most of the time I used to sleep with my parents because I was too scared, and all the lights had to be on. But even then, I was scared. So it's like I felt there was no way out for me.
Right. So you don't know where these nightmares came from. It wasn't. Can you say it was a result of your family, or maybe things that films that you saw, and it made you scared? What could you put it down to something, or you can't explain it?
I'll be honest, it's unexplainable.
Right.
Very unexplainable. Because even if I tried to think about it before, it's like if it was a film, I could get over it easily. But it happened over the most of my life, a big period of my life.
How long did this last for?
This lasted up until I was 15.
So, did you feel that that was something that could never change? You accepted it, having sleepless nights? Did you accept it in your mind?
In a way, I started to accept it, but it was hard for me to do that because when I got older, it got even worse.
Worse in what way?
It worse in a way, if I'll close my eyes for 10 seconds, I would feel like there's a presence around me. I'll shiver. I would wake up again quickly. So it would take me a long time to get to sleep, a long, long time.
Yeah.
I'll have to sleep with the lights on. Sometimes I'll put the TV on. I'll put everything I can find on, just so I can fall asleep in some way.
You didn't share that with any of your friends at all?
No, of course not.
You just kept it to yourself?
Yeah,
Did you tell your mum or your dad?
No, I didn't at all, especially when I stopped living with my dad. So it's like he wasn't aware. And even my mum, even though she was there, but she didn't know what was going on with me.
Right. So, from there, what happened next?
From there,
because we're slowly coming to tonight's topic, right? We're getting there, guys. We're getting there. So what happened after this?
From the family problems, it led on to me moving to England. This was when I was about 8 years old.
Where were you born?
I was born in Mauritius.
Right.
But I moved to Morocco when I was about 6 months.
Okay. So from there, you moved to England?
Yes.
Okay, so what happened when you moved to England?
It was about 4 days after my 8th birthday. So being me, I was excited because I was like, okay, it's a new beginning for me. And coming over here I had this family here and things like that. I thought things would be more on my side, but I couldn't be more wrong. My family on that side, it's like, I wasn't a favourite to them at all. I was despised, pushed aside all the time.
This is on your father's side?
Yes, yeah, it is.
So you came to live with them?
Yeah, like close by, across the road.
But what happened?
It's like I didn't fit in. It's like it wasn't my environment, as in they made me feel left out. Of course, I can't say that for all
you or the whole family, your mum?
Mainly, it was me and my mum that was outcasted. And at times, I would say even my dad was. But I can't say it was the whole family, but it was majority of it, as in they pushed us aside.
Right.
So from then, it was like I had nowhere to hang on. I didn't have any support in any way. So from there, the family thing got even worse, and that put the anger inside me even more.
Did that put pressure on your parents to argue more, or your family, your parents against your father's family, relatives?
It was more of, it's after situations which happened with police and so on, it's like my dad's side of the family, they pushed on against us, as in, you can't do this, you can't do that, and it's like put a lot of pressure. So from then, things only escalated. My anger even got worse from there.
And what did you do as a result of that?
As a result of that, at first, because I started primary school here, it was about in year 3. So things, it stayed the same for a bit, as in like, I was just getting used to it. I was speaking little English. It was hard for me to cope. But then as things escalated, as I got older in my studies as well, my anger increased, meaning I was being more aggressive at school. Even my reaction at home, although I was young, there was a lot of aggression. My mum couldn't figure out what it was. Neither could my dad at that point.
Yeah.
So all happened was the anger escalated. It kept on going. It's like I was being pushed to a limit. And from then, that's when I started having attitude. I started to rebel a lot towards my parents, towards school teachers. It's like I stopped caring about everything that was around me.
Yeah.
It's like it didn't matter anymore. It's like,
were you ever expelled or?
No, I was never, not in primary school, because in primary school it's sort of like I was the good kid to the teachers, but then when it come to the playground or break time, it's like I'll get more violent, aggressive, and that started leaking more.
Can you remember that time if the teachers understood your behaviour, or did they kind of, you know, were really strict on you? Go and stand against. I don't know if in your time it's stand against the wall and stay there, but you know, were they understanding? Did they call your family in to explain, ask what was going on? They
tried to understand, but I can't say they did understand, because it's like 1 minute I was fine, the next minute I was the angriest kid that was there. So it's like to them it was a shock of how when I first came to what ended up happening in the end, as in me getting so angry, violent, rude, swearing and things like that. So they didn't understand it.
Yeah.
They tried to, but they really couldn't.
Now, your life changed, right?
Yes, indeed.
But it had to reach a point where, you know, it went overboard. Now, you grew up with this anger. We can see that the anger is increasing inside of you. What happened then?
Well, as I moved on to secondary school, in primary school I was bullied. So it didn't just end there. So when I moved on secondary school, my first year I stayed quite low. But then the second year I started to be more rowdy. Things got even worse. Example, it led to some addictions that I had even.
What were they?
The addiction that I had mainly was to pornography. That started when I was around 12, 13. And it was a thing of every week to where it became to every few days. Because I was so lonely and it's like, I couldn't sleep at night either. So that helped it in a way for me.
So you had in your room, was it in your room?
Yeah, it was in my room.
Pornography, yes, okay.
Yes.
So that was like a comfort to you?
In a way, yeah, I can say that, yeah. And that as well as music. Music was something, to me, it was like water. It's like I would listen to music everywhere I went. School, before school, after school, when I wake up, while I'm sleeping, the music would be there.
So what kind of music would you listen to?
Mainly UK rap music.
Right.
Because I was really into that. I really like the metaphors and things like that.
I mean, I remember growing up and I used to listen to US rap music. And there was a load of kind of different kind of rap. There was like political rap, there was the conscious rap, there was the fun rap. But it had an effect on me. And though I was a young boy in England, listening to that music, the rappers from America, I used to feel the anger that they used to rap about the police and whatnot, and it had an effect on me here.
Yeah, that's true.
Did that have an effect on you?
Yeah, a lot of it did. Because I used to relate to them. That's the reason I used to listen to them mainly. Because when they would speak about a problem, for example, they would speak about people seeing them a certain way, the way they dress. I'll relate to that. I'll be like, okay, that's true. That's how I see it as well.
Yeah.
And then I'll start having the same eyes towards the police, towards authority. So to me, that's when I became really, if I can say, rebellious. Like really, it broke out where I didn't respect anybody. So the rap music really increased that.
So the music, the pornography.
Yes.
Where did that lead you to? Where we're getting closer.
Yeah, we are.
So what happened?
Well, that led me to me becoming very proud, very paranoid.
About what?
I used to be paranoid. First of all, it started from my bedroom. And then it led to when I'm stepping outside my house, if I go to a different area. Because I had conflict with some people in different areas, especially in my school.
Were you in a gang?
Me, not
friends?
myself, but I had friends. And the surroundings that I grew up in, there's a lot of gangs there.
So we're talking about what, postcode?
Yeah, postcode mainly.
All of that, right?
Yeah.
So you'd be paranoid, what, walking on the street?
Walking in different areas especially, wearing a certain type of colour in a different area, and that really...
Over here as well?
Yes.
So what were the colours over here? Don't tell me it's red and blue.
No. In certain areas it is red and blue.
What colour did you wear?
I'll be honest, mainly I stuck with black.
Black?
Because black was like my thing. So
dark.
Yeah, dark. It had to be black.
And that's what you were inside.
Yeah, I was like that.
You were dark. You had no peace at all.
No.
Right? So you were afraid, or you'd only walk in certain areas.
Yes.
Anger inside of you. Coming home, you know, family situation not good, not sleeping well, watching pornography.
Yes.
Your life was a mess.
Complete mess.
Right? What mistake did you make?
My mistake was wasting time. Wasting time when I had the opportunity to change. And this was when I was invited to the youth group.
Okay.
And also the church. First, I went there once because my mum, you know...
Who invited you?
my mum, she was inviting me for a long time, especially when things were getting bad with me, when I nearly got expelled in secondary school, and they were calling her in and things like that, and saying I'll get into fights. And then she saw that there was no way for me, so she invited me to the church.
Was she going to the church herself?
Yeah, she was going.
She started to go?
Yeah, she started to go.
For you or for herself?
She was going at first for her, but I believe it was for me as well. Right. Because me, I was just getting worse by the day.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she invited you to come along?
Yes.
And was it the first invitation, the fifth invitation, the 50th invitation? When did you eventually start attending?
I'll be honest, there was one day I was like, you know what, you invited me so much, I might as well go. I'm like, I don't know what.
Get you out of my hair.
Yeah,
let me just please you.
Yeah,
yeah.
Because it was a thing. I'm like, because I used to come home and sometimes she would be crying because of what I used to do. So it's like, I was like, you know what, let me give you a break. Let me just come, and then from there, hopefully you won't tell me again.
Right.
So then I ended up going.
We're gonna stop there. We're gonna go for a break. We'll be back, and you're gonna find out how his time was wasted, what he did. Though he was coming to the church, but he made mistakes, just like you. And if you relate to his story, maybe a young male, maybe a female, maybe you can't sleep well at night, maybe you're going through one of the things that he has mentioned and even more. Well, look at him now. You're going to hear his story. Stay tuned. You're going to hear the rest of his story. And if you want, during the break, give our helpline number a call. There'll be someone there to talk to you and even pray if you wish. If you have a question that you'd like to ask Andy, feel free to call in our studio and ask a question as well. He can give you some advice that maybe I can't give to you, but he's been helped. He can also help you with something that maybe you're going through. We'll see you after this.
How can you rebuild the shreds of a shattered past? Let us help you.
The Chrissy B Show airs live on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays, coming to your homes with entertainment, life issues as well as hard-hitting topics, coupled with friendly and practical advice. I love to look at the happier side of life and believe a person can achieve amazing things when they put their mind to it. The Chrissy B Show, always aiming to show you the happier side of life.
Welcome back to Finding Answers. Before we hear Andy's story and how his life changed, let's show you our Vox Pops, the street interviews on this topic. Have a look at this.
You know, there's no stereotype anymore.
Protect yourself, sometimes you probably do.
It will heal, but it will always...
They're humans, they have the ability to use their initiative.
Find it difficult to just be happy in this life.
Hello, Esther Shepherd from Finding Answers on the Streets. Now, however big or however small, we all make mistakes. But just how do these mistakes influence your life, and do you learn from them? Do you make mistakes? Are you a man who makes mistakes often?
Loads of mistakes. What kind of mistakes do you make? Every mistake you can really imagine. Yeah, but it's easier to fix skateboard mistakes than actually life mistakes. These don't stick. Sometimes you maybe hurt yourself, but you just get back up and do it again.
Everyone makes mistakes in life, to be honest, but not major mistakes.
I do.
Yeah, but not really mistakes, because you learn from your mistakes, so it comes out good in the end, so it's fine.
It depends, maybe life mistakes, not so much professional mistakes. At work, I don't really make a mistake. Socially, in relationships, I've made a few mistakes.
Like, I think my life is one big mistake.
Yeah, and I love every mistake that I make because I learn from it.
Do you think a lot of people learn from their mistakes?
They do, eventually, yeah. You make mistakes and then you tend to get better from them. And if you don't get better from them, then you regret it even more. I don't believe in regrets, and I don't believe in kind of dwelling. I believe in sort of like processing and reevaluating and then trying to get what I can get out of that experience to pursue better things.
No. No.
Yes.
How do you know that you learned from your mistakes?
Because I do it right the next time.
Let's all learn from that young man just there, right? This is exactly what we want to help you with. He's learnt not to do the same mistake the next time. Esther?
Yes.
So, any comments on those
mistakes?
videos? Yes.
Yeah, I'm definitely a repeat offender, that's for sure. I make mistakes all the time. But like one of the guys said in the videos, he said, you know, I love all my mistakes. Not always as easy to say that, but yeah, love life, food, exercise,
yes,
how to get somewhere, directions. I'm terrible at constantly making mistakes there. But
one mistake in directions is not asking for help when you are lost.
Yes.
And trying to be stubborn and find your own way.
Yeah.
Right?
Trying to get your phone to work properly. But yeah.
Yeah,
I think everybody makes mistakes. I think it's nothing to be ashamed of, but definitely learn from it.
Yeah, so of course we all make mistakes, as we all know that we do. However, it's about learning from them. If you don't look at yourself, if you don't evaluate your life and see where you went wrong, then you're going to end up making the same mistakes, right? Has there been any big kind of mistake that you, like myself with the university, is there anything that you can
share with the group? I was afraid you'd ask that.
Why?
I was like really thinking about it. It's just loads, just things. But maybe with boys, maybe with boyfriends. Maybe I've got, you know, sometimes when I was younger, definitely I had that thing where I'd go back to the same guy, knowing that he wasn't good for me, like we said in the video.
The same one or someone different?
Oh, no, someone different. Oh,
okay.
In some cases the same one actually, yeah. Or someone different a different person who has the same traits. And I was wondering when you were chatting, I was like, why do we do that? Why did we just go back? Is it comfort or is it...
Do you think that was something from your father? Because there's that thing that, you know, sometimes girls, women, they go after someone who's similar to their dad.
Yeah, similar or the opposite.
Yeah?
So, yeah. I don't know, yeah. It's too much psychology to get into right now.
Exactly. But we don't have much time for that.
But yeah.
So, maybe you have a comment, maybe you have a question you'd like to ask. Esther can read them out to you. So the email address is help@findinganswers.tv. So we're going to go back now to our testimony. Andy, is there anything that you would like to ask Andy yourself as well before we...
Andy, I just think you're incredible. You're 16.
Yes, I am.
Yeah, and one of your things was you said that your big mistake was wasting time.
Yeah.
You're okay. You're 16. I mean, yes, you probably have wasted some time by the sounds of it, but he's all right.
Mhm.
He's got some time left.
Exactly. You know, we're all going to make mistakes, right? But the thing is, you've done something that not many young people have done, which is recognize that they've made a mistake. So we're going to hear now from you what happened. So you said you came to the help center, you came to the church, right?
Yes.
And your mum invited you. However, you were wasting time, as you mentioned.
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, when I came, I thought to myself, I was like, this is not for me. It was just a thing of, yeah, it's a church and things like that. Maybe I'll just be those you know, the people that just attend.
Yeah.
And they just hear and go and they don't take anything in.
And that's a mistake in itself, because if you do attend a church, and you are just there attending, just to ease your conscience, just to make yourself feel better, but then you go back. Like we have this saying, we have this kind of idea. You know, there are those Sunday Christians, right? They're there on Sunday in the church. They're very holy on Sunday, but Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, they're back to the same mistakes, because they know that on Sunday they can ask God to forgive them. Big mistake. You're wasting your time. You're not getting any close to God. So you thought that I'm in church, I'm in the building, you know, I'm okay, right?
Yeah.
I know how to pray. Did you know how to pray?
I didn't really know what to say.
Right.
Like, even when I was there, obviously I heard people pray and things like that. But me, it's like, I didn't like the idea of being told what to do. No matter if it was by someone at school, a businessman, or even God.
Right.
It was like that for me.
So the fact that the pastor was there,
yes,
you know, giving some guidance for your life, you know, respect your parents or whatever the case may be, in the youth group, teaching you about your parents and staying in school and, you know, respect authority, you didn't want to hear that.
No, I didn't. It's like, I didn't like being told what to do at all.
So like I said in the beginning of the program, if you don't hear, you will feel. Did you feel?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, so tell us what happened.
What happened was, I despised every advice that was given to me. So when I came, at first I was in and out of the youth group, I was attending the services, but it's like, it came through one ear then out the other. Sometimes I even had my headphones on, listening to music. We're in the middle of preaching, it's like they'll be saying, did you get that? And there'll be lyrics in my head and I'll just be nodding away.
The police this and...
yeah, them ones there. So, and then this carried on. But then eventually it stopped. Eventually I was like, look, let me just listen. At first, I took in a few things of how to conduct myself. I wanted outside to look as presentable as I could. So have a character outside, but hide the one within. And eventually that's what ended up happening. Eventually I built up a big image outside, but inside I was still rotten, corrupted.
You were telling me during the break that when you would leave the church, you would walk in your area, you'd walk in someone else's area, whatever it is, and when you would see people, a gang or other people, this anger started to fill you. Your walk started to change, your persona, your attitude. You became a different person, is that right?
Yeah, that's true. It's like something took over me completely, but I wanted it because to me it made me feel powerful. Like, you know, when you feel like there's nothing that can stop you, it felt exactly like that. Especially if I was in my own area, if I'm walking down my street, if I'm going to my local shop, it's like, I'm the guy.
Yeah.
To me, that's how it was.
You're the guy in a few blocks, if I can say, a few streets.
Yes.
Right? But you're not the guy in another postcode.
No.
You're the guy, you're from South London.
Yes, I am.
So even in another part of South London, you're not strong. You're not the guy. So you're not powerful, you're not strong.
Exactly.
So, but you go home and you feel weak, right? You feel down.
Yeah.
Empty inside.
Completely.
So didn't you wake up to this fact?
At first I didn't. Because at first to me I was like, look, I go home, it's behind closed doors, meaning no one will know, no one has to know. What goes on at home goes on at home. What happens outside, that's what, if they see, they see. If they hear, they hear. That's up to them.
So you made this mistake of not learning your lesson.
Yes.
How long did this drag on for?
This dragged on for about, I could say 1.5 years.
18 months?
Yeah, probably even longer.
When did you learn your lesson?
I learned my lesson last year.
Last year?
Yes. But then, even then, I refused certain things, meaning I didn't want to know.
What was the difference? Because I don't have much time.
Yeah.
What did you hear, or what did you do for yourself that started the change in your life?
The first thing was, I was in the church. I was there, I was attending, I had this title in the youth group and things like that. People knew me, but I came to realization that I still couldn't sleep at night. I still was lusting a lot, as in I was still addicted to porn. I used to drink sometimes in a while, but I was still addicted to music, still paranoid, I was depressed, and I had a lot of bad influences. My relationship with my mum was the worst. I was failing at school. I was predicted B's and A's, and I was getting U's. And even the first time I done my GCSEs, I slept in my exams. So it's like I got U in my papers, E's and D's. It was like everything was a mess.
How did the change come about?
The change came about when I decided to say no more. I stood up to myself in a way. I said, you know what? I can do much better than this. And I know that it's me that's holding myself back. Because a lot of the times people want to blame others. They want to blame their environment. They say, I was brought up in a bad background. I was brought up in this area. I mean, I couldn't do anything for myself. But me, I know it's not the case. I know it's your personal choice. It's your decision. If you choose to live in a certain way, it's because you chose it. It's not because someone else chose for you. Because no one can make a decision for you.
So you could have blamed your dad, which you were. You were blaming your family situation. You were blaming other things. But when the penny dropped, you realized that it was me.
Yeah.
Only I can change my life, right?
Yeah, that's true.
And was it something that you heard in the youth group or a message in the church that started the ball rolling of change?
Yeah, it was more of a thing of, I realized that, okay, I went through so much, but I had to realize that my past is my past. There's no way I can go back, I can run back, or I can do anything to change it. It's happened already.
I can't repeat the same mistakes over and over again, blaming other people.
Exactly.
I've got to do something different to move on.
Yeah, exactly that.
And how is Andy today?
Today, I can sleep very well. So I have to have many alarms to wake me up. That's the truth.
Yeah, go on.
But I can wake up without being paranoid. I don't have to look over my shoulder if I'm walking in a different area. I'm free from pornography. I have a good relationship with my mum. At school, I'm doing my best to recover from my mistakes.
Yeah.
Because I know I can't change the past, but I can change my future. I no longer hang around in different street corners. I don't pretend to be something I'm not. I don't hide anything inside.
You don't have that anger anymore when you walk on the street?
No, I don't have that anger, that revenge toward, or to want to hit someone just by looking at them or by them looking at me. It doesn't come anymore.
When you walk on the street and you see these guys in gangs, I'm sure you see people from your past.
Yeah, a lot.
How do you feel? Have you actually talked to any of them?
I smile.
You smile?
I smile. There's nothing there. There's nothing there. It's like, sometimes they'll look, they'll be like, okay, so, and then me, I'm just there like.
That's not part of you anymore?
No, no more.
You bore that down to who?
Sorry?
Who made that change in you?
I would say it had to be a partnership between myself and God.
Yes.
It had to go both ways. Because all of my life, I spent my life blaming God. Because I said, if you're real, why didn't you help me all these years? But I had to realize I had to make a decision to accept his help. Because if I didn't, then I'll still be where I was before, even worse. Probably in jail or, I don't know, in a hospital bed.
Andy, thank you very much, okay? You brought us on to this. This is the secret. This is how you make your partnership with God. This envelope. Inside this envelope is where you could put your life. Is where your life can change. We are having a special event in the church called the Campaign of Israel. If your life, if you've made mistakes and you see that you've kept on making mistakes and you are today what Andy was like in the past. Today, you are him. You are him of the past. But you want your life to change. You want to be different. You want to learn from your mistakes. And maybe you say, I can't, I don't know what to do. Well, Andy learned what to do. He found strength. And this could be, will be, it is your ticket to a new beginning. A complete new person. It's this. the campaign of Israel. It all started off many years ago. A man who had an inspiration from God to do these things. I have been changed in the campaign of Israel. I have taken part in many of these things. I have seen a change in me. I have seen a change in my love life. I've seen a change in my finances. I've seen a change in my family. All because of this, the campaign. We are having this special inauguration of the Temple of Solomon next month. We are calling it the campaign, the greatest campaign of all campaigns. You can be a part of that, but it will mean you doing something different, something extraordinary. If you want to know more, then you can email or even give us a call. A pastor's there now who can explain to you more about this campaign of Israel. The number is 0207 686 6300. I don't know if you have time for an email. Do we have a time before the prayer?
I could sum up very quickly.
Yes, go ahead.
Just mail of the day. Bruno, we have got your email, and Bruno's had some trouble where he actually might have made a girl pregnant.
Right.
And he does want some advice for that, but we can always come back to it in another show.
Go on, please read.
Yeah? Okay. So I'll sum it up, Bruno. So Bruno went on holiday with a bunch of friends, and they're friends that maybe led him down the wrong path, he says. And he's come back, and the girl that he was with and slept with on holiday has now said that she's pregnant. Bruno thinks that this is the end of his life, and he's very afraid. He says, friends say that I should deny it until she can prove it. I can't even bring myself to tell my own mother. What should I do? Please pray for me.
Bruno, you've literally made your bed and lied in it with this girl on holiday. A mistake, yes, but why was it a mistake? It was a mistake because now she's pregnant and she's told you. Now, if she wasn't pregnant, if something else happened, like you got a disease, would you wake up and smell the coffee? Because the fact that she's pregnant, now you're worried. But if you didn't get an STI, if she said she wasn't pregnant, would you still keep on doing the same thing? Would you, on the next holiday you go to, would you have a one-night, stand? So the question is, we can pray for you, but the prayer won't work. It's not going to benefit you if you don't do what Andy did. If you don't do what Andy did, your life is still going to be up and down. It's affecting your career, it's affecting your family, it's affecting your future. So if you don't learn from your mistake, if you don't say, you know what, let me find out, because there's two now in this situation. There's this young girl who could end up being a mother, right, if she is pregnant. So you need to make a decision, because you could be a father and you need to take your responsibility as a father in bringing up this child. If not, whatever your decision, you've got to be responsible. And I know that there are many men and women out there who choose not to be responsible. They choose not to learn from their mistakes. And God can't do anything about that. But I want to appeal not only to you, is it Bruno?
Bruno, yeah.
Bruno. Bruno and everyone else who is listening to me now, and you would like to put your past behind, you would like to learn from your mistakes and move forward. So get your glass of water ready, because we're going to go for the prayer.
Prepare now for the moment of prayer. If you would like us to make a prayer and include you in the Finding Answers prayer book, send your name and prayer request to prayer@findinganswers.tv.
Father, in the name of your Son, Jesus Christ, I pray for Bruno. I pray for people like Andy watching this program who have heard his story, but they don't know how to change. There's something inside of them that pushes them to do what's wrong, to continue doing the same thing, knocking their head on that brick wall over and over again. And though it hurts, they still do the same thing. My God, I pray for this person that they will wake up, they will realize that their mistakes, the repeated mistakes they keep on making will not help them. They are like that hamster walking around, running around in that wheel. My God, help this person to make a decision. Help this person, my God, to do what's right from now on. They know what is right. They know what they need to do. But if they don't have the strength to do it, so give them that strength when they'll drink this glass of water. So God, I bless this glass of water now. And when they will drink it, give them that inner strength. Take away from them the hurt, the past, the memories, and make this person, help them, my God, because you know their heart. Help them to start all over again in Jesus Christ's name. Drink this water now and be strong to make the right choices from now on. So, you've seen this young man, he could even be my son, right? If you look at each other. But you see, his life has changed. Your life can change as well, all right? If you want, I'm going to stay behind now for about 10, 15 minutes. If you want to give that same number a call, I'll be there to personally talk and advise you if you wish, all right? Until the next time, have a wonderful evening. God bless you.